Welcome, everyone, to the Strengthening Partnerships for Students with Disabilities webinar series. Our session topic is Navigating the Special Education Procedural Safeguards. This is part 2 of a 2-part series. This presentation's brought to you by the California Department of Education, Special Education Division, and the Seeds of Partnership Project. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedules to join us. As we get started, I want to point out, next slide, that we have some options for language, which is American Sign Language, which will be spotlighted, and translated captions can be accessed by finding the Show Captions icon at the bottom of the Zoom menu and selecting the arrow. This opens a menu where you can select the translation button. If it's blue, that means it's active. On that menu, you choose My Caption Language, where you select the language that you would like the caption to display. So for example, in my example here, the slide shows speaking language is English, and I'm choosing to display Spanish captions, and that will lead you to any language in the selection. Next slide. I'll now introduce our California Department of Education, Special Education Associate Director of Complaints Resolution and Statewide Programs, Noelia Hernandez.
Thank you, Robin, and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Strengthening Partnerships for Students with Disabilities webinar series, part 2 of Navigating the Special Education Procedural Safeguards. My name is Noelia Hernandez, and I am the Associate Director of the Complaints Resolution and Statewide Programs for the California Department of Education, Special Education Division. It's wonderful to see many returning participants in today's webinar, and for those who are joining us for the first time, we are so glad to have you here. At the Special Education Division, we collaborate with our colleagues so that our partners in the field can strengthen their partnerships and supports for all of California's students with disabilities, regardless of the community that they live in and learn in. Consequently, this webinar series was created with one goal in mind: to help build stronger, more informed, and more collaborative partnerships between families, educators, and support systems in special education. In part 1 of the series, we covered the foundational aspects of the safeguards and highlighted the importance of understanding key procedural safeguards, such as parent participation in the decision-making processes regarding their children's education, consent, assessments, and eligibility. In part 2, we will conclude the procedural safeguards series by focusing on student discipline, resolving disagreements, and the dispute resolution process, and exploring related resources. I'd like to acknowledge that navigating special education systems is not always the most straightforward or the easiest process for many parents as well as educators. But this is why we have invited the practitioners today and our partners who work directly with families, schools, and communities to share their insights and resources that make a difference when navigating these systems. Our hope is that these conversations not only strengthen your knowledge, but also your confidence in this process. I sincerely thank everyone that's logged in today as we continue to develop, maintain, and strengthen our partnership in order to support students with disabilities across California. I would also like to thank Robin Ryan from Seeds of Partnership for her tremendous work on this webinar series, in addition to our State Special Education Local Plan Area, or SELPA, and our Pathway to Partnership partners, Raul Family Empowerment Center, and our CDE Constituent Support Services Office, who are presenting with us today. Lastly, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the CDE Programs and Partnerships team, as well as Robin Ryan's team, for their technical support in ensuring the success of these webinars. And once again, an enormous thank you to everyone here for embracing this unique opportunity to partner and team with us. Thank you for your time and your partnership. Back to you, Robin.
Thank you, Noelia. Next slide. So my name is Robin Ryan, and I'm the coordinator of Seeds of Partnerships Project. And with me today, assisting our colleagues, as Noelia shared, from Seeds of Partnership and Department of Education. For those of you who may not be familiar with Seeds of Partnership, we are a longtime partner and technical assistance project funded by the California Department of Education out of the Sacramento County Office of Education. We partner on a variety of initiatives with the Department of Education, provide training, develop resources, and support around all things family engagement, including assistance with compliance, improvement monitoring, and coordinated support to the family empowerment centers in our state. To learn more, please visit us at www.seedsofpartnership.org, and we'll be dropping various links into the chat. We're excited about to bring you this webinar series. The goal is to create the space where families of children and young adults with disabilities, educators, and professionals can come together to learn and connect with effective strategies, resources, insights that support students with disabilities. So the hope is through sharing knowledge and experiences, the sessions do inspire meaningful conversations and foster collaboration and highlight the voices of parents and students and educators and others who make a difference for the students in our lives. These topics in the series are generated from years of direct input from both families and educators in California, and we look forward to adding additional areas highlighted by those of you joining us in this session or who are tuning into a recording by your completion of the feedback form. So we're adding that into the chat as well. That's how we'll continue to add topic areas. We are recording this session, and it will be available on our SEEDS website in the e-learning gallery, and you can find upcoming events there. And I would like to point out that part one of this two-part series is already, the recording is posted there, and you can find that and revisit that part one. Next slide. In our session today, Navigating Special Education Procedural Safeguards, Part 2, we will focus on continuing the learning and understanding of the procedural safeguards. We will hear from colleagues from the California Department of Education's Constituent Support Services Office and their role in supporting families and educators with questions and concerns related to students and education. We will dive back into the procedural safeguards overview, and this time focusing on private school placement, state special schools, student discipline, resolving disagreements. This will include a spotlight on strategies and solution ideas from SEEDS and Family Empowerment Centers, which will be shared by our colleague from Rowell Family Empowerment of Northern California, and our colleagues from a fellow statewide technical assistance project, Pathway to Partnerships, will describe how they support parents and educators with resolving disagreements through their project focus area, which is alternative dispute resolution. We also will share additional resources that relate to strengthening family-school partnerships related to this topic. I want to also note that our session today is intended for informational purposes, and it should not be considered legal advice by any means. Next slide. So providing us an overview of the California Department of Education Constituent Support Services Office is Education Programs Consultant Denise Lambert. So I'd like to welcome Denise.
Good morning, and thank you, Robin. And thank you for this opportunity to spotlight some of the work that's being done at the Constituent Support Services Office. My name, once again, is Denise Lambert, and I'm an educational program consultant with the California Department of Education within the Special Education Department. I'd like to begin by introducing the Constituent Services Office within the Special Education Division at the California Department of Education. Our mission is simple but powerful, and it's to enhance communication and provide meaningful support to families navigating the special education system. We know that navigating special education can be overwhelming for families. That's why our office is focused on ensuring every family feels heard, valued, and supported throughout the process. Our staff is trained to provide accurate information and clear guidance. I'd like to share how we were helping specifically families and LEAs and those parties that are calling into our office. So first, the office provides a dedicated platform where families and educational partners can voice concerns and ask questions. It's often the first point of contact for many of those navigating the complexities of special education. The goal is to ensure that every caller feels heard and supported from the very beginning. Second, when appropriate, staff provides immediate assistance either by answering the caller's questions directly or by guiding them to the appropriate person, department, or educational partners. This, ensures timely response and reduces frustration for families seeking help. Lastly, if a concern is complex or cannot be resolved immediately, the office carefully assesses whether it needs to be escalated, and this might involve referring the caller to one of our educational partners to assist with alternative dispute resolution or referring them to our complaints unit. These key functions reflect the office's commitment to being responsive, collaborative, and solutions-focused, always working to support both families and educators in a timely and respectful way. Lastly, the Constituent Support Service Office is also helping to lead the development of the statewide system of dispute prevention and resolution. This work includes collaboration with families, local educational agencies, and community partners. Our goal is to transform how special education conflicts are handled in California, shifting from reaction to prevention. And just some final thoughts. I want to leave you with this message that families are not alone in this journey. The Constituent Services Office is here to be a trusted partner in support and resolution. Together, we can improve the special education experience for students, families, and schools across the state. Listed on the slide is our contact information. Our 800 number is 800-926-0648. And we take calls between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. You also can leave a voicemail and calls will be returned promptly, or you can also email at sedco@cde.ca.gov. And thank you again for this opportunity, and I'll turn it back over to Robin.
Thank you, Denise. So in part one, we can go to the next slide. Part one, we shared a slide on procedural safeguards and why do they matter, and for both parents and educators. And so just to ground us back into the topic, we want to emphasize this again. It's important for parents to understand procedural safeguards so they can advocate for their child's needs and be active partners in the educational process. And just the same, schools must also be aware of these safeguards to ensure they follow legal requirements and uphold student rights. When both parents and schools understand these protections, it leads to more effective support for the student. So these are more than just legal requirements. They're one part of the foundation of collaboration between families and schools related to special education supports and services. Next slide. Our topic today is procedural safeguards. To find a copy of the procedural safeguards online, you can visit the links added in the chat or visit this QR code shown here. The first one is for English version, and the second one is to access the translated versions. So as you may notice, while viewing the procedural safeguards, they include statute, federal regulations, and education code. And our session is based on the federal and state special education law, including the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And so I want to point out, as mentioned in our earlier session today, there will be many legal references, but this session is not intended for legal advice. It truly is to assist in understanding the role of procedural safeguards in supporting the rights of students and families. Next slide, please. We're excited to welcome back Raylan Nelson, longtime director of South Orange County SELPA, and Julie Macias, coordinator at West End SELPA, who will provide an overview presentation of parts of the procedural safeguards. We also, within the section on resolving disagreements, program specialist Michelle Kinner from Pathways to Partnership will share a few slides, and embedded toward the end of the section, we will hear from Elena Bramble, director of Rowell Family Empowerment Center, who will share a few areas frequently brought up by parents and some strategies that LEAs might consider to address those, as well as parents. The information and approaches are collective from Seeds of Partnership and many of the family empowerment centers in our state. Highlighting experiences of parents and what parents have shared have been helpful for them. With that, I'm going to turn over to Raylyn and Julie, and I'll ask we can move on to the next slide.
Thank you, Robin. I'm Raylyn Nelson from South Orange County SELPA, and I am joined today by my friend, Julie. Do you want to introduce yourself, Julie?
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Julie Macias, and I am with the West End SELPA. Today, we're going to cover part 2 of the presentation regarding procedural safeguards. And the hope today is for you to walk away with some information that's more palatable and understandable. I know oftentimes when we receive that document, it might seem overwhelming. And so the hope today is that you leave with a lot more information and understanding of this document. Next slide, please. Okay. So as they mentioned, today is part 2. In part 1, we talked about parent participation, consent, and assessments. Today, we're going to cover private school placements and state special schools. We'll also talk about school discipline and resolving disagreements. Next slide, please. All right. So just to ground us, we're gonna discuss what is IDEA. So that is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. It is a federal law ensuring free, appropriate public education. So you might have heard that term FAPE often, and that's what that means. It is a free, appropriate public education. FAPE is delivered via an individualized education program, or IEP, for students with disabilities. It starts with an assessment. So an initial assessment is conducted, and then from that, an IEP is developed and reviewed annually. The IEP must support meaningful progress based on the child's needs. That's just a quick overview of IDEA. Next slide, please. All right. The first thing we're going to dive into is private school and state special schools. I know there's oftentimes some confusion as it pertains to private school, so let's dive into what private school means in your parent rights document. Please skip to the next slide. All right. Children attending private school. Parents who place children in private schools waive full FAPE rights. However, the district may offer limited services through an individual service plan, or ISP. ISPs are not the same as IEPs. An IEP is a more comprehensive program, where an ISP offers limited services. The district must consult with the private school and parents about the available services through the ISP. If FAPE was offered before private school placement, the district is not required to provide services.
I'm going to interject here, Julie, because I think it is important to note that every district has a little different policy when it comes to ISPs. So if a parent is interested in an ISP at the end of the initial IEP, it will be discussed if they alert the IEP team that they are choosing to have their student attend private school the following year. So please check with your districts to find out what they really do provide as an ISP service.
Thank you, Raylyn. Next slide, please. Okay, reimbursement for private school placement. So parents may be reimbursed if FAPE was not provided before private placement, meaning the IEP offered was not appropriate, or that there were procedural violations, such as the IEP's goals were not being implemented. Or if the private school is appropriate. So in other words, the private school meets the child's special education needs. Reimbursement may be reduced or denied if the parent did not make the child available for assessment, or if the parent did not give a 10-day written notice before enrolling in private school at the public expense. Next slide, please. Students who are deaf, hard of hearing, blind, visually impaired, or deaf and blind. What are some of the state schools? So state special schools serve students who are deaf, hard of hearing, blind, visually impaired, or deaf-blind. Locations in California include California School for the Deaf, and they have locations in both Fremont and Riverside. There's also the California School for the Blind located in Fremont. There are also residential and day programs. So for deaf students, infancy through age 21, and for blind students, ages 5 through 21. They also provide assessments and technical assistance. Next slide, please. Next, we're going to jump into school discipline. Okay. Students eligible for special education under IDEA have special protections related to school discipline. School personnel may apply the same school discipline consequences for students with disabilities as they would use for non-disabled peers when the disciplinary removals have exceeded 10 days. Disciplinary removals for more than 10 consecutive days or the removal of 10 non-consecutive days in the same year for misconduct constitute a change of placement, which triggers the protections of IDEA, specifically the requirement of a manifestation determination review. And we're going to talk about that in the next slide. Manifestation determination. A manifestation determination review meeting must be conducted to determine whether the child's misconduct is caused by the disability. So when is it required? It's required if the removal exceeds 10 school days a year. It must occur within 10 days of the disciplinary decision. It determines if the behavior is linked to the disability. Parents must be included in the manifestation determination review team. If needed, the student receives an FBA or functional behavior assessment or a behavior intervention plan if one is not already in place. Students must still receive services to stay in the general education curriculum and work towards their IEP goals. Next slide, please. If the manifestation determination review team concludes that the student's misconduct was not a manifestation of the child's disability, the school district may take disciplinary action, such as expulsion, in the same manner as it would for a child without a disability. If parents disagree with the team's decision, parents may request an expedited due process hearing if they disagree. FAPE must still be provided, even in the alternative setting, where they have access to the general curriculum, and IEP services and supports must continue.
One of the prongs of the manifestation determination also involves making sure that all of the supports that were offered the student in the most recently consented to IEP were actually provided to the student.
Thank you. So if the behavior is, oh, sorry, I think we have this one already. Next slide, please. Okay, resolving disagreements. Protections related to resolving disagreements. Over the next few slides, we're going to talk about alternative dispute resolution, or ADR, mediation requests, due process hearings, and state compliance complaints. Next slide, please. Alternative dispute resolution. So you always want to start by talking with the school. Start by talking with your child's teacher or the administration at the school site, and try to resolve your issue at the lowest level possible. If you are unsuccessful with that, you can reach out to your district or SELPA for support. Contact your district or SELPA for help with rights and concerns. There you can have informal conversations, which can often lead to the resolution of issues fairly quickly. And then alternative dispute resolution, or ADR. Ask about the ADR options that are available, knowing that ADR is voluntary, it's collaborative, meaning there's collaborative conversations, and it's often very effective. To highlight a resource specific to alternative dispute resolution supports, I'm going to transition over to Michelle Kinner from Pathways to Partnerships to share the assistance that they provide.
Thank you, Julie, for that transition. I'm Michelle Kinner, and I am one of the program specialists with Pathways to Partnership. Next slide, please. This is our team. We are a combination and a collaboration between Ventura County Office of Education and Tehama County Office of Department of Education. These are our executive directors, as well as our co-directors and program specialists. Next slide. So Pathways to Partnership is a part of the statewide system of support as a special education resource lead in alternative dispute resolution and prevention. We provide support to families and educators. Our purpose is simple. We want to help resolve conflict and preserve relationships in special education in California. In order to do this, we foster trust and collaboration, and we keep our students at the center of all discussions. Pathways to Partnership is doing many things throughout the state to develop our vision of preserving relationships and resolving conflict at the lowest level. We are providing professional development, including a 2-day facilitated IEP training of trainers and other topics throughout the state. We are coordinating the ADR annual conference with the State SELPA Association. We are also working with regional implementation leads to bring the work locally to each region. And we are helping to create and coordinate communities of practice across the state so that practitioners and parents can join together to learn new ways to support each other and collaborate. Lastly, we are providing technical assistance and direct services in providing ADR in our collaboration with CDE's new Constituent Support Services Office, and with other cases that come in through other channels. Next slide. As you know, Pathways to Partnership has partnered with the California Department of Education in the development of the Constituent Support Services Office. This office is part of the Special Education Division, and we heard from them earlier in the webinar. There are many ways that those calls come in here on the left side of our screen. They're receiving those calls and emails. They're providing that immediate support that they discussed. And at times they are escalating and determining which cases need to be referred to an ADR process. We receive referrals in many different ways. Some of those come in through the Constituent Support Services Office. Some come directly from parents, and some come from our LEA partners or SELPA offices throughout the state. The important thing to point out here is that the way that we address these cases is the same regardless of the route that we receive it. So our first step is to gather information from both parties. As was also said before by Julie, ADR is a voluntary process. So we ensure that each participating party would like to participate in the ADR process, and then we gather information. We sign confidentiality agreements to ensure student information is kept confidential. And then we determine which options are needed in our continuum of ADR. We link to the local Family Empowerment Center, or SELPA, or many SELPAs or districts have their own ADR programs in their communities. So we will link parents to those programs. We also may just go directly to the local contact at the district and work with them to help facilitate a discussion. We also help facilitate collaborative conversations with both parties, and that could look like an in-person meeting, a Zoom meeting, phone calls, where each person is able to express their concerns, and we do that through a facilitated conversation. We also provide or attend IEP meetings as a support, an ADR support, and oftentimes we also facilitate those meetings so that there is an outside neutral facilitator. Lastly, we can provide mediation support where we work with districts and parents in resolving higher level conflict. Next slide. Here are the many ways that you can reach us. Anyone, like I said, is able to reach out for support or technical assistance. We have our website, pathwaystopartnership.org. You can send us an email at info@pathwaystopartnership.org, and that's how many referrals do come in. And we're also on social media. So thank you. Back to you, Julie.
Thank you. Okay, so in addition to ADR, parents may also request for mediation. You can seek resolution through mediation through the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH. I always have trouble with that acronym. It is voluntary, and it is an informal process to resolve special education disputes. It involves issues like assessment, placements, or FAPE. It is led by an administrative law judge, or ALJ. Parents and districts may bring non-attorney representatives and consult attorneys. It is requested through the Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH. They are currently held virtually. If resolved, a legally binding agreement is signed. And lastly, all discussions are confidential. Next slide, please. Okay. Parents may request a due process hearing, which must be filed within 2 years from the date you knew or should have known about the alleged action that forms the basis of the due process complaint. Next slide.
I'm sorry, for the interpreter, do you mind saying again within what time do you have to request that?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
2 years.
2 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Parental protections related to due process hearings. Number 1, have a fair and impartial administrative hearing at the state level before a person who is knowledgeable of the laws governing special education and administrative hearings. Be accompanied and advised by an attorney and/or individuals who have knowledge about children with disabilities. Present evidence, written arguments, or oral arguments. Confront, cross-examine, and require witnesses to be present. Receive a written or, at the option of the parent, an electronic verbatim record of the hearing, including findings of facts and decisions. Have your child present at the hearing. Have the hearing be open or closed to the public. Some additional protections related to due process hearings. Receive a copy of all documents, including assessments completed by that date and recommendations, and a list of witnesses and their general area of testimony within 5 business days before the hearing. Be informed by the other parties of the issues and their proposed resolution of the issues at least 10 calendar days prior to the hearing. Have an interpreter provided. Request an extension of the hearing timeline. Have a mediation at any point during the due process hearing. Receive notice from the other party at least 10 days prior to the hearing that the other party intends to be represented by an attorney.
The process typically takes about, I would say 2 to 3 months, depending on what the caseload is from the time that complaint is filed until the time the actual hearing begins.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Filing a written due process complaint. So a written request for due process hearing should be filed with the Office of Administrative Hearings and should include the name of the child, the address of the residence of the child, the name of the school the child is attending. In the case of a homeless child, available contact information for the child and the name of the school the child is attending, and a description of the nature of the problem, including the facts related to the problem or problems, and a proposed resolution to the problem or problems. Next slide, please. Early resolution sessions. Prior to the due process hearing, the school district shall be provided the opportunity to resolve the matter by convening a resolution session. A resolution session is an informal meeting between the parents and the district convened within 15 days of receiving the notice of the parent's due process hearing request. The district attorney may not attend unless the parent brings one. Parents can share concerns and facts of the dispute, can be waived in writing by both parties. If unresolved, may proceed to mediation or due process hearing. If resolved, a legally binding agreement is signed. This happens during that early resolution session. Next slide, please. During the due process proceedings, the child involved must remain in the current educational placement unless the parent and the school district agree on another placement. Appeals. The hearing decision is final and binding, but can be appealed in the court within 90 days. Fees awarded. Courts may award attorney's fees to parents if they prevail. Fees may also be awarded after an administrative hearing if both parties agree. Fees denied. Fees not awarded for IEP meetings unless held due to due process or court action. Fees may be denied if reasonable settlement was rejected and the hearing outcome is not more favorable, excuse me. Next slide, please. Raylyn, did you want to add?
No.
Okay.
You're doing great, Jules.
State complaints. State complaint procedures. So parents may file a state compliance complaint when you believe that a school district has violated federal or state special education laws or regulations. An example of this would be that the school district wasn't providing services, or the school district was not implementing the goals and objectives as they were outlined in the IEP. This must include the student name, the school, the issue, and the resolution you're seeking. You send to the Office of Administrative Hearings and to the school district. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to turn it over to Elena Bramble from Rowell. She's going to share some strategies and solutions related to solving disagreement.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Elena Bramble. I am the program director for Rowell Family Empowerment. We serve the northern middle states of the top of California. There's 6 of them, so I won't list them right now. I am going to present to you some of the things that we have heard from our families as family empowerment centers throughout the state that has helped either from the district side or just what we have done to help families and support them through this process. So frequently shared by parents have shared that they are not always aware of their options when they disagree with the school or district on placement, goals, timelines, services, how services are provided, or services that are not being provided. So some of the things that they have shared with us that LEAs have done that have been useful to them are that the LEAs have actually shared the disagreement or complaints or ADR, alternative dispute resolution process that they have. The district should have that on their website or within their handbook. They ensure the time is allocated to explain all of the special education terminology, because the terminology is acronym alphabet soup, and it's great to have that explanation. Parents love that. They maintain open and proactive communication. They make policies or parent handbooks and SELPA local plans available and easy to access. Consider additional staff trainings on empathy and de-escalation strategies, and expand or offer opportunities for parents to provide feedback on their experience as part of systems improvements, but as part of the team. Some of the things that we know help parents and that oftentimes we will do with parents is that we teach them how or about the IEP process and the parents' rights by participating in workshops, either provided by the school district or other agencies related to special education. We encourage families to ask questions about their assessments and their services and placements that are suggested. So anything that happens within that meeting, we are always encouraging families, please ask questions. It's just a whole different language. So it's good to ask questions. If there is a disagreement, learn about your options through the district, the LEA, the SELPA, or through CDE. There's a lot of information that we point families to, but they can also look it up on Google and it's there. Attend the community advisory committee in the region. This is an advisory committee with the SELPA department that allows families to learn processes, but also allows families to interact and engage in their local special education departments. And then also access us, the Family Empowerment Centers. Your local empowerment center is able to guide you through special education practices, special education, the understanding of the whole process. So Seeds of Partnership has us listed on their website. You can easily find us. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. So we're at the end of the SELPA part of the presentation. We're on to resources. Next slide, please. Where can our parents get more help? So you can contact your school district or your special education local plan area for questions about your student's education, your rights as a parent, and your procedural safeguards. You can also get additional support from the California Department of Education Constituents Office in the Special Education Division. The phone number and the email both appear on your screen. You can also reach out to the Family Empowerment Centers, which are located all across California, and there is a link there for you to access those. You can also reach out to the Parent Training and Information Centers, and again, those are located all across the state, and there is a link there on your screen. All of these groups offer resources, training, and guidance for families of students with disabilities. Next slide, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, so in this session, we talked about state complaints, mediation, and due process hearings. We'd like to share a few direct links to those items. The first one is a link to a page on the CDE or California Department of Education website about filing a state complaint. The next two are from the Office of Administrative Hearings on requesting mediation only, and also on requesting mediation and due process. These links can also be found in the chat. Next slide. I'd like to highlight the Family Empowerment Centers, as Elena shared, and also our colleagues Raylyn and Julie shared. But the Family Empowerment Centers as a resource in general, but specific to our topic today related to understanding procedural safeguards and resolving disagreement, the Family Centers are an invaluable resource in providing parent-to-parent support, resources, and information. In California, we've got 41 regions. Each region has a nonprofit organization that receives a Family Empowerment Center grant funding through the California Department of Education to serve that region. They're supported through California Department of Education and Seeds of Partnership. And the Family Centers serve families who have children aged 3 to 22 in California with a disability. They provide specialized training, peer-to-peer support, access to information and resources. They are assisting parents to better understand their child's education and developmental needs, promoting positive relationships and effective communication. And so we invite you all to visit the Family Empowerment Center website at www.californiafamilyempowermentcenters.org. The link's in the chat as well, to learn more and find the center that's in your region. Part of our role with SEEDS is to promote and partner in their work, and so we look forward to highlighting them in future sessions. Also want to point out that the Family Empowerment Center contact information is included in the procedural safeguards document shared earlier. It is important to note here, though, that all centers are not listed currently. However, future updates, you will see the future, the listings and contact information for all of them will appear on future updates. The most up-to-date contact information, you can visit that Family Empowerment Center website, californiafamilyempowermentcenter.org, or through our SEEDS website, or you'll find them on CDE, but that's where the most up-to-date and the entire list, no matter what county or region you're in, you can find it there. Next slide. Another resource I'd like to highlight is through our Seeds of Partnership website. We have what we call ADR Resource Hub, which includes information on what is alternate dispute resolution. It includes information about family school partnerships, descriptions of various complaint process just shared, but links to access those process, and additional resources as well. And that's at our seedsofpartnership.org/ADR California. Next slide. In closing, we do have a feedback survey. We want to hear from you. So let us know about your partnership stories. We want to know what's working well, what sessions or topic areas we can lift up that's coming from our state here. What would be helpful to you? There's a QR code that's listed here. We also have a bit.ly link. Please encourage you to share, either take the time now or after you think about it a little bit, but we absolutely encourage you to complete this. And thank you so much for being here. We can go to the next slide. We also invite you to register for an upcoming webinar. As a reminder, these are the fourth Thursday of the month from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and they are recorded. So if you miss one, you can hop in and join us there, but we hope you can participate with us live. And there's a QR code, but also these are found on our Seeds of Partnership webinar and video link. And that is where you register. It's the same place that you go to access the recordings. We can go to the next slide. So on behalf of the California Department of Education and Seeds of Partnership, Sacramento County Office of Education, I want to acknowledge and thank our partners that joined us today, Raylyn Nelson and Julie Macias. And we have the partners from Michelle Kinner from Pathway to Partnership, Elena Bramble from Rowell, and a big thank you to Noelia for the welcome and all of our team. On behalf of everybody, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope to participate in a future session together. And again, learning together, it continues to strengthen partnerships. So thank you, and we hope you have a good rest of your week.